Hello everyone. Thanks for clicking on the video. I wanted to get into, we're still on the subject of how I'm dealing with a narcopath. There's so many layers to narcissism where it's impossible to get all of it, being as though this is a lifestyle for a narcissist. So you do have to detach. Again, it's not something that I necessarily want to talk about, but I feel my story will help a lot of people. So that's why I'm here, and also to bring some awareness and justice to what I'm experiencing. Now, any videos that I make are strictly off the top of my head, whether it be current events or past. I feel like it's important to start in the very beginning so that you see the pattern. A lot of times we pay attention to things that people say, things that people do, and we don't pay attention to patterns. This is why I naturally don't change as a person. I mean, I have many times been forced to, the narcissist has tried to force me to change my perspective, also employing others to help me view things from his perspective. This is why you'll find that the narratives continue to change as the days go along. So it becomes very distorted, confusing, and this is all due to the narcissist trying to wiggle his way out of accountability or seen with his mask off. I want people to understand that it has been disturbing, but also being a person who understands duality, I alchemize and transmute a lot of these situations and circumstances. So I want to get into, well, first let me say that when you are anointed, a lot of times anointed people, what they've been through isn't seen so easily. It doesn't show on your face. It doesn't show in your behavior. And this is because healed people know their worth. And, God reeks through your skin. It reeks through your spirit. And you can almost see the contrast to an anointed one and a narcissist. A lot of times, whether it's what we eat, what we take into our spirit, what we take into our minds shows on the outside. Not always, but when it's spiritual, it's almost an indicator, a warning if people know what to look for in people. And it's not always the case as well. Someone could be experiencing something else, whether it be drugs, drinking, negative situations in their life, and that may be due to why they may look a certain way or behave a certain way or isolate or any type of scenario. But when you are dealing with a narcissist and you know what to look for, you'll notice the subtle and extreme changes if you are educated or have been targeted by a narcissist, or maybe you've lived with one. Some people live with narcissism their whole lives and they never truly get to experience life within living. Narcissists, getting into the whole spiritual side of this, narcissists are demonic people. They carry entities, and you will see it in their eyes when they're angry. You'll see it in their distorted way on how they pervert everything. And these things are kept greatly separated by the Jekyll and Hyde character. Everything is used in a calculated way. They leave no stone unturned. And this is why they intertwine themselves into a person's life to be able to micromanage and use everything, whether it be your past rewriting, whether it be your current life, whether it be sexuality. They distort your healthy way of being with your sexuality, your healthy way of thinking. This is a complete distorting of who you are 360. Now, to give you an example of this, the narcissist will invade your privacy, illegally surveillance you, and have others agree to this, have excuses. And normally it's with those who are distorted themselves, uneducated, various reasons for others to join the narcissist in doing this. And sometimes they're doing it single-handedly and slowly convince others to join in to do negative things to you. And that also is using cognitive dissonance with recruited people who he connects from their own morality. And we do wind up compromising our morals when you're around a narcissist, unless you are aware what to look for. Again, the world is distorted. If you implement understanding the duality of this human experience, that's harder to do. For example, all the angles that the narcissist uses, it's not seen by everyone. Normally it's seen by the target and those who do become targets, trying to defect this cult-like situation. So current events recently, the narcissist, the stalker, is using my text as a weapon. Anytime that I text someone, he will take that and use it in various ways, whether it be take it back to another person or distort what I mean in my text to the person I'm texting, friends, family, coworkers, online, and uses it to his advantage. And I want to give you a deeper example of that. With the twin flame. Now, being as though the narcissist is attempting to swap characters with the twin flame, also attempting to swap everyone, divide and conquer is on the top of the list of the narcissist tactic in order to keep individual control. So if the twin flame can show you the text that I send, maybe I would say once a month. The reason I do this is not because I don't have my guards up, or I'm not looking at the situation 360, or I'm a people pleaser, or it's a trauma bond, or anything negative. I want people to understand that twin flames, regardless of what is happening in the 3D, it does not mean that you're indebted to that person. It does mean that you have a soul connection. It isn't an obligation as well, but it is a magnetism, a understanding that your twin flame is going through karmic lessons, also through spiritual warfare. If a narcissist is involved, they will try to distort the other part of the twin flame dynamic. And a lot of times this is to hurt the target, which is the other half. Now, considering that I do not allow people to change the way I move or God's plan or what the universe has laid out for me, I refuse to stop moving the way I naturally would have from the beginning. Now, some people may say, let it go. Some people may say, the flame is using this against you. No, I feel like the flame teeters in and out due to the mind over heart battle in the spiritual warfare, in his karmic lessons. And something within my own spirit is telling me that he's becoming closer and closer into his deeper awakening. So the universe, God, when I text the flame, which is not often at all, I am hearing telepathically what he may be going through. I am understanding the narcissist involvement in trying to hurt me through um, distorting the twin flame, trying to hurt me, possibly sleeping with the twin flame, because he would see that as the ultimate betrayal. Again, the narcissist hides, pretends to be loyal, decent, and godly. They hide their sexual deviancy. And so the best thing for them is to take any love potential away from you. It's not just with family, friends, coworkers, even your words of wisdom, your character. They will do this with love in your life. And this is all deliberately done in order to hurt you, distort you, make you hate, suspicious, lose trust, give up. I want you to imagine how deep the rabbit holes go with the devil. They will go to the abyss of hell to divide, conquer, control, hurt people, make people so deeply ashamed and embarrassed in situations that are hard to come back from, if at all. So you have to be very strong. Now, me connecting with the twin flame, if in fact there was intimacy between the narcissist and himself, that is something that I don't agree with. It does change the dynamic of the relationship if it ever became one. So I do have my limits. I do have my boundaries. And if this in fact happened, I transmute it and I try to stay focused on the bigger picture, which is spiritual warfare, which is the soul connection. The soul does not know titles such as marriage, boyfriend, girlfriend, situationship. The soul doesn't recognize male or female. The soul doesn't recognize race, financial status, anything 3D based. So I'm still, if you understand spirituality deeper, I'm still connected to the 5D spirit realm, which is understanding the 3D based actions that take place in order to distort the 5D. Hopefully that makes sense. Yes, there are deal breakers for anyone, and that's something that I have to navigate if I ever came into a deeper communication with the flame. Again, that is the whole point of the narcissist premeditating calculately to destroy things. A narcissist will claim that other people are the Jezebel, other people are the player, other people are sexually promiscuous. And this is typically a projectum of themselves that they hide with the Jekyll and Hyde. So you'll have a lot of people believing that this person is morally together, and they do a really good job in convincing you of this. But I know within conversations and understanding what the narcissist is doing hiddenly to other people and myself. For example, in my text, I will say certain things due to the fact that the narcissist doesn't want me to text the flame. It enrages him. So I will say things, yes, that will annoy the narcissist, not in attempts to annoy him purposely, but I do not change the way I feel or how I'm going to move. Also to send a message that you're not going to change the narratives or the perspectives or how I would feel or move myself. Now, I will still have the boundary now, because if this if this intimacy didn't take place with the narcissist and the flame, then I'm still moving as normal. Until I know the truth, I move the way I normally would move, with precaution and discernment. In my text to the flame, the majority of the time, I'm educating him and helping him remain focused, because a narcissist can truly dig into the depths of your soul, and you will find yourself needing therapy. I have not gotten therapy being healed. I pretty much try to do that on my own and still doing this. But if you can imagine someone who isn't fully awake, or dabbles into the spirit as much as I do, or as much as you listening to this would, we're all in various stages. There's levels to this. And I feel like I get this strong sense that the twin flame was exploited, because the narcissist tried to exploit me. He tried to pull me in with love, or using my childhood, trying to trauma bond. And that becomes more and more visible as you talk to this person and time passes. You can't see it at first, because the idea is to pull you in as being a together person. This is why I detached and walked away, and losing that control enraged the narcissist. They hate when you distort or when you disturb their original plans. So it becomes a game. It becomes a challenge with each person involved. So he's using my text to convince people that I am people pleasing the twin flame, that I am enabling his poor behavior, that just different scenarios. And we'll show this to, again, friends, family, people online. This is so that he can change the narratives and have people think a certain way, and help him with his delusions to appear like the good guy and someone else is the bad guy. Now, other people may very well now be somewhat of the bad guy, due to being stuck in a situation, shamed, embarrassed, and kind of angry at all the turmoil that they may be in at this time, and is typically not normal to their character. These demons within a narcissist, I have seen people's faces change as time went on. Now, I'm noticing this pattern, and I jog my mind into this full story from the very beginning. And I noticed that people are in their everyday lives, even if they are in more so in the 3D, they still look normal, healthy, still connecting with others, still, I'm sorry I say a lot. I'm collecting my thoughts when I do that. Ironically, OM is a word that's used to balance your mind and place you in such a way where you are able to collect your thoughts. So if people know the word OM, and the chanting of that, you'll understand what I'm saying. So I'm trying to work on that whole in between. Anyways, the narcissist will colonize your mind. As I said in my previous video, it's very demonic in nature. They just have this know-how to do this. So when others are being distorted, when they're being manipulated, when they're sent down this rabbit hole into the delusion of the narcissist's mind, you have to keep perspective of where each person is, because like I said, there's levels to being spiritually awake, being a discerning, intuitive person. I do believe the twin flame was very low in that intuition, because being in the 3D and possibly surrounded by many people who live deeply in the 3D. Of course, we're a product of our environment. Now, I still saw that he was very intelligent in many areas, but how many of us are educated or skillful within the whole narcissism dynamic? Not many of us are, and this is around us day in and day out everywhere. So it is a learning process. It is a lesson. It is part of that duality that brings us into our spiritual awakening. So it can, at one point, make you upset or make you feel distorted within yourself as a narcissist, because you're thinking of all the nasty ways that the narcissist is inflicting onto the people in your life. And it's disheartening because you want to wake them up before they are sent through down this rabbit hole where they will struggle. Some of them will need therapy. Some of them will turn to drinking. Some of them will turn to other people and want to have that connection, whether it be loving or someone to listen. Now, I found in the beginning that the twin flame, again, was very much in the duality within itself on whether to move forward with me, getting to know me. We were fine for about a year. He looked healthy. His business was thriving. We were giving each other ideas. It was fun, a lot of smiles, very lighthearted. And I do believe he was heavier back then. The last time I saw him, he lost quite a bit of weight. Now, I don't think that's due to just drugs or drinking, if at all. It could be due to being intertwined with narcissistic people. Now, I'm not sure of the details of the karmic. I did witness some things that point to some of those same characters, but I can't say 100% that that's what he's dealing with. He would have to tell me the details. So I'm trying not to judge prematurely. Now, getting back to how people act, how they're moving, how they look, how they speak, the things that they begin to do later after talking to the narcissist. Again, it's very demonic because it does distort and change people. He will dog walk you into his delusions and into the dark side, and you will not detect it. You won't notice it if you do not know what to look for. That's when the cognitive dissonance comes into play, where he will say so much, do so much, manipulate so much to the point where he wants people to become addicted to abuse. Now, this is what happens to people who are abused long term. They begin to, I would say, protect the narcissist or go back into it, or they're enticed to stick around, be it whether it's being paid. And sometimes a narcissist can addict you to drugs as well in order to weaken you, or suggest a lot of partying and put people into these states of mind where you become used to that, to put you in a low vibrational state. Now, a narcissist has told many groups to have parties in front of me. And if he can attend these things, it makes him feel validated. It makes him feel wanted. It makes them feel a part of, like I said in my previous videos, they take over your friends, family, co-workers, neighborhood. They want everything that you have in order to remain relevant, in order to remain in control. And they normally use someone who had a normal life. Not that it's perfect, but people genuinely like me in the beginning because I'm not displaying anything that they shouldn't. And but I do have haters as a chosen one as well. That's natural with people who are working out their own thing. So it is sort of a attempt to completely destiny swap. And when people are seeing the swap in the middle of it and awakening, that's interrupting the narcissist's attempts, their initial plan. For those who know the story, I want people to understand that I do not have children with either the narcissist or the twin flame. And it's it can get annoying because the narcissist doesn't belong in my story. Twin flames are placed there by God, by the universe. It is part of your path, part of your journey for those who believe in it. The narcissist forces his way into everyone's life, using the target as the initial bait, and you are the target of most of the blunt of the abuse. But others can also be targeted in small or bigger ways. It can get worse if he sees that you are not allowing yourself to be used or being pulled back in. This is you showing that you're within your empowerment if you do so. Now, I'm going to be honest and explain what I witnessed in the twin flame from the beginning. I feel like he can be loyal when he finds someone that feeds the fire within him, that makes him feel alive, comfortable, that makes him feel safe. And I think that he may have found a little bit of that in me, and the narcissist wanted to distort that because remember, he is viewing my text and what I'm saying to the twin flame and what he may say to me. So he's seeing something genuine possibly develop and wants to distort that. Just like with recently, as we speak, the narcissist will view my texts and use them as a weapon to get people to change their narratives, to attack me, or to make it seem like I'm catering to the flame. I don't cater to any males or females. I do, however, stick to what or how I normally move and don't allow others to deviate me from what I normally would do. Now, the whole idea is to change how I normally move, and I won't allow that. So that's why I'm still sending a few guiding tips without losing myself with the twin flame. Now, I have thought to myself, don't text the twin flame, because it will be seen as though I'm weak. It will be seen as though I am giving in to a tactic that the twin flame is using. But if the narcissist wasn't involved at all, this would be moving as normal. The karmic lessons, the separation. But when you have all this distortion due to a narcissist, it puts even more of a strain on the connection. So considering that I don't care what people think and I strictly connect to a higher power, I don't pay attention to friends, family, coworkers, and how they may have an agenda themselves. I look towards people who understand the connection better. If you don't understand twin flames or a real soulmate connection, I am not the soulmate of the narcissist. If you understand this at a deeper level, you'll understand what I'm talking about. And it's also teaching me forgiveness from afar. At the same time, it doesn't mean that I have to be immediately intertwined with people. Again, it should be allowed between those two people, three people, or a group to come to that understanding. And the narcissist, in a hidden way, is trying to make me think that if I go back to certain group settings, be it where I do my hobbies, or if any jobs in the past, or he's trying to convince me that these people want me back or want to affiliate with me because they want to finish the job, and how they're going to hurt me and how they're going to unalive me, and they just want to gaslight me and abuse me again. I do give grace to the fact that people awaken from the illusion, and I give grace to that. Now, I still will keep my guards up, because once a person shows you who they are, believe them the first time, and you have to understand how to navigate within that. But you can't allow it to be due to a narcissist and his manipulation. That's basically given over to his control. So I do things as the universe sees fit for me. I don't listen to the tangible 3D man. I directly take my discernment through a higher source, and do understand that what I'm doing is correct for me. Now, will I allow myself to be fooled? No. Will I allow myself to be intertwined into something negative? No. This is hard to explain to people who are at a certain ranking within spirituality, or people that are deeply in 3D, in that matrix part of things. But those who are higher ranking and are learning more will understand what I'm saying as they ascend, as they grow, and not view things in the perspective of the narcissist manipulation, but at a soul godly higher power level, that two things can be true at the same time. Meaning, at the way I move is being used against me and isn't understood deeper, because the narcissist is becoming enraged that he cannot change the narratives towards my end of any situation. And that's been the problem from the beginning, not being able to distort my reality, to change me, to control me, to use me as a resource in everyday life. Now, this is something that I can't control, where people are calling the narcissist my ex. There was never any relationship other than I thought was a friendship. And I want to reiterate from one of my first videos, is that considering we went to school together, that kind of allowed me to put my guard down, because at first I didn't recognize the alias name that he uses all the time. Once he told me who he was with his real name, I guess my guards were down at the time, because I don't live life paranoid and suspicious of everything. So you can make those mistakes. Now, when I talked to him from the beginning, he was gathering information, and didn't realize that at first, because we chosen ones, we learn that not everyone has the same heart or agenda or intentions as you do. So that was a great lesson for me, and very well taken. I'm grateful for it. Now, people viewing and hearing the word your ex, they will assume that this was a long-term relationship, that we have children, that we were ever intimate at all. And it's not that whatsoever. I was never intimate with this person. He did try to, at the time when you're liking the person that they're presenting, you may say things that lead them to believe other things. But once you gather your thoughts and understand spiritually what this is, I try to correct it and make sure that I didn't go further into anything with the narcissist. And I think, again, the fact that I interrupted his agenda, which is scamming you out of money, using you for your energy, discovering who I truly am, and saw me as a good resource, I put an end to that fairly quickly. Now, some people stay in the under the narcissist thumb for years, months, decades. I personally figured this out fairly quickly, and the narcissist is using that one point in time to remain relevant, being connected to certain people. They feel seen, heard, validated at such a deeper level, where basically a chosen one unknowingly makes people feel seen and heard, because we are not speaking generally to the flesh, what you have, what you do, not even the character. We are listening to the soul, the true personality, and we have high empathy and patience, forgiveness, but they misconstrue that with taking abuse. So the narcissist initially felt validated because we genuinely validate people at a soul level. And that's something else that we also learn along the way, how much to extend of ourselves. But at the same time, today, the narcissist wants to relive that. He wants to, some people call it clout chasing. I think that it was a point in time that he doesn't want to let go of, and uses me to receive that validation with other people. I'm not rich, I'm not famous, but chosen ones do have that inner, for lack of better words, that inner feeling of being rich. And that comes off towards 3D based people as being 3D tangible rich. And they don't understand how we navigate through life in such a way where we can obtain things, we can manifest things, and the soul, the energy that we give off is a sense of richness. Again, for lack of better words, but they misconstrue that and see that not only is your energy a resource, possibly financially a resource, people, resource, a resource of all sorts of things that a narcissist can see in people in different levels. Again, it is creepy, it is disturbing that this person will not let it go. Narcissists will cling on to a target and the people around the target. They will force their way in. They want to get back to that initial way it was in the beginning with everyone. But what happens is the narcissist cannot keep the mask on for too long. When you begin to self-care or attend to your own business, they feel like they're losing that attention. They're losing that resource. And that's not healthy, because we need to give people their space. We need to respect their boundaries. And this is how you maintain a healthy relationship. You have to evenly pour into each other's cup, regardless of what the relationship is, which is balance. The narcissist sees things as black and white. There is no gray area. There is no room for you to focus on yourself. And though times they can pull off that they're giving you your space, especially if people are making them aware that it's unhealthy, they will shapeshift, but they will always resort back to control, manipulation, and self-seeking tactics. The distorted part of anyone involved with the narcissist is that when you begin to think for yourself, I think I mentioned this before, you'll find yourself cleaning up a mess. A mess that branched off from the beginning of the story, which is targeting one person, which is myself. And so others may find themselves confused, needing therapy, or in situations, or having to work their way out of a mess. Their secrets some being created, some that may be true. And this is the normal everyday life of each individual. We all have something we have done or said or not proud of, some of us more than others, or we all may live a certain way, and we're navigating through life um, as normal, but everything tends to be distorted by a narcissist because they uh, marry into your circumstance distorted things. They pervert everything. If they hear one thing, they find a way to twist it and pervert it. And it's ongoing. It's a constant attack where you do not have time to constantly explain, or you become exhausted having to put out these fires or explain yourself. Now, again, all these people would be living their everyday normal lives with whatever comes with that, be it a secret, be it how they live or how they're healing or within their journey as they go along. No one's perfect. Finding that a chosen one, we normally have good intentions, not meaning that we're perfect, but we're normally balanced people. So this is why the narcissism, those recruited into hate, they have to create or distort something in your life that actually means or is something else. And this is done consistently to keep you intertwined, to keep you explaining yourself, to keep you under their thumb, to keep you hostage into the situation, which is why I detach. I mean, silence helps with a lot of things, but also that's what the narcissist wants. He wants to be able to attack and abuse you, and you remain silent, but also that silent is helpful because you're going to want other people to see what you see, to experience what you experience. And it's sad because sometimes we have to allow people to go through things and not play God. This may be, again, karmic lessons, life lessons, and none of us should play God. Now, we can help guide if we are allowed to, but we can't take the place of the lesson itself or do the work for people. Back to what I was sidetracked, back to what I was saying about the twin flame, what I noticed is that he may have been very close to his mother, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. I think he was a people pleaser. I think that being a people pleaser kind of stunted his ability to spiritually understand things or to navigate better. I think that he was a bit naive and easy to use. And I feel like some of these lessons and the whole twin flame journey, and a karmic can be family, friends, co-workers, anyone. So I'm seeing the bigger picture that these are all lessons, that some of these things are orchestrated for that healing, for that leveling up. And I try to keep that in mind as well. The problem is the narcissist does not want you to level up. They do not want you to heal. This is why they constantly have to inflict something to keep you in a low vibrational state. And the more people awaken, the narcissist will swap that notion and pretend to be the person who's healing, because they can see that any particular person is coming into an understanding, a renewal. So the narcissist will now use the words, I'm renewed, and I'm no longer that person, and I'm healed. He will say a lot of the things that the twin flames may be saying or learning, and will still at the same time inflict things out of you so that he doesn't come into that complete understanding, which is just part of delaying people. And that's another big thing. They delay you or try to stop you. The delay is meant to exhaust you into submittance and give up on yourself and others. Now, if we go back and remember that the narcissist wants to compromise technology against you, this is to keep up with your everyday living. But not only that, they're sexually deviant people in out of view of people, which he likes to use behind the scenes, the term behind the scenes a lot. He is gathering information into your sexuality, invading your privacy, and has used things in the past against me. For example, he shared a video sexual in nature. The narcissist will invade your privacy so much so that he'll find things on you, things you forgot about on your computer, things that he will try to build a relationship and ask you for. It's different with different people, and then that will be used against you to blackmail you, frame you, distort your healthy sexuality, everything. Not only that, using AI, audio splicing, whatever it takes, switching up what you've said in emails, texts, whatever it may be, or distorting the details of text or an email or some video he had a recruited person take of me, which that's why he recruits people. They're taking videos, pictures, reporting back information as though they're directly in your life. So all these people are the right hand men and women of the narcissist, whether he's paying them or manipulating them or creating excuses to do so. Recently, the narcissist has said a few times that the people he's targeting celebrated too soon. And the reason for that is because meeting your twin flame inside of these stalking dynamics, you're meeting someone who may be more likely to teeter on the truth, whose soul is recognizing something, but the mind is being pulled the other direction. So coming together with someone like a twin flame, or meeting someone who is very educated into the subject of narcissism, you're dealing with someone who can possibly lend a helping hand, a sort of freedom and empowerment to yourself and the other person. This can also happen with family members who refuse to deviate from you and are in your corner and laughing or going out having a good time or coming together and showing each other care or love. He sees that as celebrating too soon. And what he means by that is that he created situations to divide you because he doesn't want to see anyone celebrating. So when he's saying that people aren't laughing anymore, people aren't celebrating, this is because the narcissist's distorted way of thinking, the mental illness, when he's losing or when he's being held accountable, he feels like people are laughing at him, like people are finally celebrating. And this is because this has been ongoing for so many years. He doesn't want you to have any positive feelings, any positive outlooks or outcomes. So if you understand the language of a narcissist, they're speaking backwards. When you read their email, receive a text, have conversations, you have to understand what word salad is. That is a term used in the world of narcissism, or double speaking, and understand these terms. So I have educated myself greatly also by personal experience, book educating myself through other targets, through professionals, and just closely connected to a higher source that has told me what this is from the beginning. So again, once you learn their language, once you learn the light and the dark language, this is the epitome of standing in duality. This is the epitome of spiritually awakening. This is the epitome of having balance. The narcissist hates balance. They hate understanding the duality because this doesn't serve the narcissist. Out of view of everyone else, whether it be in lives, a comment online, to other people, he's said things like, I'm going to drive him crazy. He's going to need therapy after dealing with me. Or him or her will not get away, or just anything to fear base. And what he means by this is that the Jekyll and Hyde, one knows what they're doing and calculated, premeditated, and the other one doesn't. That is part of their own cognitive dissonance. That is part of the delusion. It's a default setting that they can't help, they can't stop. The narcissist once said, I tried to leave you alone. I can't. It's like an addiction. They're addicted to anything that they take on, be it people, a substance that they hide, just a way of thinking. And even when they seek therapy, they can trick doctors, lawyers, judges, authorities, which is another thing. Well, let me get back to this first. If you allow the narcissist in and you don't remain focused, self-care, keep up on your spiritual hygiene, try to connect, take time for yourself, a narcopath can distort your reality. They can cause psychological damage. So it's good to be aware and educate yourself early on, or even if you spend some time in this. The longer you're in it, the harder it is to detach or reverse, which is why I detached 16 years ago. Already healed from many things. At what point do we allow ourselves to accept that healing and stand in it and navigate in our purpose moving forward? The narcissist will create so many situations and bring up your past, try to find flaws that don't exist and even create some. Not that you're perfect, but this is what they do because they know you're healed. And I know I mentioned this many times, but it is part of distorting you and keeping you in a low vibrational state. This is why I've tapped into my happiness. I like to laugh. I like to create. I like to do positive things. I like to network with like-minded people. And though at times they're hard to find, this is why I created a group that meets twice a month. And I'm able to now implement different things that it's not only helping others, it's actually helping me more so. So getting into the next thing I wanted to say is that narcissists will pretend to be many things. They live in this fantasy of fame, fortune, the lead of everything, smarter than everyone. And they want to create groups like a cult leader, basically. So the narcissist has said in the past, I think I mentioned this before, that he is a police officer, that he's in the military, that he has two degrees in psychology, a music producer. Now, some of these things are easier to pull off or fake it till they make it. I'm all for the fake it until you make it, no judgment. But when it's not taking off enough, they become angry and they try to push that illusion even further. This is to have people believe that this is how they make their money and how they're very successful at it. This distorts that the narcissist is actually trying to financially gain through people, whether it be scamming. For example, he's told people that I stole money from him. And that's a scam. It's been done with a few people in my story, where he'll tell a person that they're having financial issues, whether it be something that's medical, or paying rent, or just anything to pull on your heartstrings, and will first convince people that I stole money from them, asking the person he's trying to recruit to scam you to create a sad story or use your empathy to help them. This is to get the money back that I supposedly stole from the narcissist that I've never stolen. Now, that's a scam that some people fall into, because the idea is to tell this story for um, a lengthy time until you believe it. And so when he recruits you to do his dirty work and make money for him, he already has you inside that illusion. So you're more likely to continue with the dirty work, continue with the scam. The reason he uses the lie of being a cop, military, two-degree psychologist, music producer, anything that is placed in your mind or you've been conditioned to believe has power over you or can help you gain, or using coercion of the heart. So it's been studied that when people see a uniform, that you give respect and you blindly follow rules or their request. So that's all psychological. And in 2026, we have to be better at discerning what's real. Many scams are run with fake badges, fake credentials, or just simply stating that that's who you are over and over. This is so they can receive a certain level of respect, fear basing. Let's say someone may have either a minor record, or they don't like to be approached by authorities, or they don't want to be in any trouble. Normally, a young male, or anyone actually, male or female, they will tend to worry about those things because they may look a certain way, live a certain way, or may have been in trouble in the past, be it minor. Now, I myself know that the twin flame does not have a bad record. I believe there's something, some type of traffic violation, and maybe something to do with making a payment that he may have gone to court for and cleared that up, or is clearing that up. And those are normal everyday things that in our journey we find ourselves in. So when the narcissist, and this is not me protecting the flame, this is not me trying to make light of that person, but I'm going to be honest with you, I do know details that the twin flame doesn't know that I know. As far as I know, I would say about 2 years ago, the twin flame lives, I believe, or last I saw solid, tangible proof of, he lives in a nice single home. He may have moved there recently. It is a place that they rent, I believe. I could be wrong, that's just the information I have. But I don't believe his life is as bad as the narcissist tries to make it seem. The twin flame being pulled into this, or if not this situation, is, to me, is behaving like a typical person his age, who's learning and navigating the journey, becoming older and learning, and is struggling in that duality of the light and dark, finding themselves, healing. The twin flame journey within itself has its own dynamics. So I see everything 360, again, like a sky view. And this is why I move the way I do. And I said in the very beginning of people finding out to my story is that I would like trust in how, being a chosen one, I am not perfect and I don't always get it right, but more times than not, I do. So does this mean that the twin flame and I have to be in a commitment? No. Does it mean I have to put up with any shenanigans? No. Does it mean that I am protecting them? No. Does it mean that I'm trauma bonded? Does it mean that I'm not healed? No, none of that. I'm seeing the bigger picture and the details. And because I am in direct line of fire and knew all these people before the narcissist did, I know more of what I'm working with and others don't. So the picture can be painted several ways to many people according to who you are. The using of my text, the using of surveillancing me, the using of recruited people who are reporting information back to the narcissist, all those things are to gather information to distort your life. Again, some of these things you cannot control. Some of these things are illegal, and I am trying to seek justice. I would like for people to come together as a group, if they wish, in order to get justice and put the right person into their accountability. They will try to wiggle their way out of it. They will try to target me and attack me due to this. But sometimes we have to go through the storm before we see the calm. I do not stand in the storm. I continue forward, and enough is enough. So that's why I'm here. Had the narcissist left me alone 16 years ago, we would be fine. I do not look into his life. I do not care. They're trying to force you to care. It's disturbing, but at the same time, I have to keep in perspective that that is the end result the narcissist is looking for. So I don't allow my mind to wander into that sector of what the end result is supposed to be. It's almost impossible, for a chosen one to remain in these dynamics and lose themselves. Again, we're not perfect. We're not saying we are. We're not saying we're better. We just process things differently. I'm happy with who I've become. I've learned to accept my purpose. I've learned to enjoy and grateful for my purpose. And I have to fully stand in it and not remain small or fear it or allow anyone to take me out of that, no matter how hard they make it for me. And a lot of people have told me, you don't look like what you've been through. Like you're a warrior. You have to be someone who's anointed, because, oh my God, how did you get through this? How did you get through that? People have to understand that some of these things started when I was 4 years old. And when I met my ex-husband, again, times I still call him my husband because I got used to it. When I'm in a new thing, obviously that gets better, but he was a friend first. We built the foundation on friendship, so that's why we may still be there for each other. And I don't necessarily have another male that I turn to when a male is needed. But I have also learned that those types of things we need from males, I've learned to take care of things myself. But still, when you need help, you shouldn't be afraid to ask for it either. So I have many males, which would be in the family, friends, co-workers. But why should anyone be obligated to help you if they don't care about you? Or now, given that we've lost our roles within the genders, where men are recently taught not to be supportive towards women, or in some cases, women towards men, and how to take care of each other, how to help each other. But I do see that there are still men out there who have integrity and do help women and do come to rescue, or if they see something, they say something, or if they see a woman attacked, they intervene safely if they can, or gather as a group to help. So there are plenty of men out there who live within their integrity and have feelings and empathy. This is why the narcissists, when they talk to men, they will say things like bros before hoes, or pull on the pain that men go through, especially if they've had hurt due to a female. The narcissist will tug on that, or divorce, or anything that you experience involving women, and they'll break that down to this toxic masculinity and pull you into that world so that he can dehumanize women for better targeting. And dehumanizing you is something that he's attempted in great form. It's something that they manipulate people into not seeing you as a human, so you don't feel shame or bad about attacking someone. So if you can imagine a male being placed inside his pain with past experiences with women, divorce, or with their parents or family, they tug at those traumas in order to use them against you. As I said before, narcissists are everywhere. These type of characters are always around us. Sometimes you have several around you. Sometimes it's just one, male or female. And being able to see this, or discerning what energies you keep around you, is important. When it comes to females, the narcissist will find ways to pull them in as well, whether it be their envy of you, feeling threatened of you, wanting to emulate parts of your life. Some of them may do this in a healthy way, and the narcissist will pick up on that and use that and change it into a hateful form. This is why he has to make you appear, the target appear, vulgar or mean, hateful, or against that person, or even create that picture online as you, attacking people, thinking you're better. And people don't understand, I come from very humble beginnings. So if I'm within money or without money, I'm the same person, because I live from the richness within. That alone is envied by people, and because they haven't tapped into that self-worth or tapped into that self-love and come into healing. And that happens with time. But if you have a narcissist who has you under their thumb, that's going to delay that healing. It's going to delay that leveling up, or you coming into your empowerment or self-care. That is the reason why wounds are used against you. They want to delay that. And as you age or learn with different dynamics in your life, the narcissist knows people are coming into awareness or coming into healing, and or just simply understanding what's real and what's not. A narcissist will eventually push people into less of a warrior, where you're worrying in life, and you become a warrior, meaning empowered, and you know how to fight back in the proper ways. And once an empath, a chosen one, anyone anointed gets into that stage, it's dangerous, because you're at the point where you don't care what people think, what people say. You ignore as much as you can as far as actions and what people do. And all of these things are important for the narcissist to keep intact and stuck you in, so that it can affect you. And when they're losing that control, they will up the ante and try to inflict more or gather more people or make it more hateful and nasty in nature, which is why the online thing may have been created, because he can't get to me through people now that I move differently and I keep more information to myself. So he had to create something online to redirect the attention towards him, and he will blame shift that it's others creating this, like the couple he says is a twin flame and the karmic. Now they may have been paid, they may have been coerced, because now they're inside of it and have to hide something as well, which leads me to say that many of these people are probably doing what they do to hide something or to attack me so that I remain silent. If there's anything involving money, I think that the truth always comes to light. The narcissist will take information from the past. When I said my mother, when she was alive, that I had an inheritance out there that belongs to me. And so he may have used that and told people to act as though they have taken the inheritance. And this is part of gathering informations in a backward, twisted way to see if I say, well, I already have my inheritance, so you can't have it. Or is possibly that the narcissist did the research, found the inheritance, and guided my family to pretend to be me and take it, is possible as well. Because the narcissist wants a piece of everything that you have and doesn't want you to gain anything. So this is why they place themselves so deeply in your life, so they can have control of anything. So if they have any awareness of anything that belongs to you, again, it could be something as small as your character, your words of wisdom, into something bigger with an inheritance or whatever it may be. They want it for themselves. They do not want you to have it. They want to try a loophole, a way to get into this. This is why your family becomes his family, your friends becomes his friends, and so on. So this is all about being very proactive. I mean, they're laying there at night, day in and day out, just trying to find ways. They're on a crusade. Your life becomes their entertainment. Other people's lives become their entertainment, and they'll start siphoning from others and trying to gain from others as well. This is their job, whether it be in the spirit realm or in the 3D realm. I forgot to mention, the narcissist has also manipulated celebrity figures in order to use them with several excuses and lies, manipulation, and have used them to gaslight me on screen in the past. Will use anyone within the celebrity influence in order to fear base you, where I've been indirectly threatened in gaslighting undetected ways. This is because the narcissist is still using the target as a way to connect with people in power or people with influence. So he's tried to fear base me using celebrities, people online, just anyone, because the idea is to make me feel like the world is against me. And he can't get to every single person on the planet. And that as well angers the narcissist, because he wish he could. So losing some of his power recently will send him into, whether it's a silent rage, and you'll see a glimpse of it every now and then. It's very distorted. So when he gets to that place where they're in rage, they lose their ability to keep it together, and you'll start to see the mask fall off. The demonic portion of this is that the human mind isn't prepared for the fuckery. It is not prepared for the levels and stages that recruited and the target will experience. It's something that you see in movies and is disconnected and conditioned from you to see the spiritual side of things. They will use very dark antics, very insidious in nature behind the scenes. Many times people will ask themselves, what the hell is going on? Or why do I feel this weird energy? And this is so confusing. And the narratives change way too much. Or something like, this doesn't make sense. The reason for that is because it is part of spiritual warfare. It's a realm that some of us are not used to. Now, you'll see these types of scenarios in movies where it highlights narcissism, the stalking of someone, the swapping of reality with another individual, kind of like single white female. And I find it ironic that this is a male who comes off as a powerful, manly man, a boss, someone who has it extremely together, someone that's good for you, someone that's good for business, and they know what they want. But the Jekyll and Hyde that people don't see, I do. I know the flip side of this. And what I see is a very scared man-child. Again, they do have the ability to strongly convince others that it's the other way around. And this is part of that demonic force that knows very well how to keep the mask on, how or what you are looking for, what you are unable to detect, what your mind is not ready for. You can't wrap your mind on how deep the rabbit hole goes with a narcissist, like looking at the devil in the eyes. And people are feeling that energy. So when you're feeling that energy, the narcissist has to come in and tweak the narratives or what you're feeling or what you just said previously. If they heard something you said, something you did that's pointing in the right direction, the narratives will flip-flop consistently shape-shifting with every scenario. And I do mean every scenario. Every word you're saying has to be twisted, changed, to work strictly in keeping the delusions alive, keeping the mask on, because they do stay stuck in certain areas of their life, or their complete lives is the way I see it. It's so deeply embedded that it's hard to decipher fact from fiction. Again, once you educate yourself on the subject, once you can see the duality, once you are tapped into the spirit realm, and I do mean truly healed, and we begin to see this slowly with a little bit of healing, with a little bit of self-discovery, a little of understanding reality or fact from fiction, seeing the patterns, the connection to the narcissist and what you may have experienced yourself. It does take time. For some, it's quicker than others. I think I mentioned this before. The narcissist keeps making people believe that I have a choice. He wants to keep those ties open that are not a choice at all. There is no choice between two men. There is no, in fact, one of them doesn't belong here. And he wants me to, or he wants to force others into making me believe that there is a choice, consistently changing what this is. They refuse to accept no for an answer. And this is because I don't have help. Even if I go to a woman's group or some type of facility that is supposed to help DV targets, he's already ahead of me, discrediting me so I don't receive help and tells people that I'm crazy. And that's typical for people who are targeted. A narcissist, someone targeting you, will stay one step ahead of you because the idea is to delay your life, to halt your life, to continue the delusions for themselves, to remain in power and control. This is a self-seeking thing, consistently a chronic self-seeking situation. I'm trying to cover as much as I can and not make this video too long, so thank you for being patient and bearing with me. Now, if there's anyone out there, any professionals who are able to help me, able to investigate more, and receive the justice I think I finally deserve. I have been way too patient in trying to nurture myself, heal, and remain focused. I have tried to seek help in the past, which leads me to say, if the narcissist has utilized anyone in authority, whether it be friends, family, whoever, it's possible that he is using some type of authority figure to help him either stay out of trouble or pretending to be an authority figure himself. In the past, there was an authoritative figure involved who was a cop. I believe, though it was made to appear like they weren't, with what I experienced, the little I did experience, they were involved in the beginning. I'm not sure if they're still being utilized today. And this is why another thing I failed to mention is that everywhere I move, or a place where I'm holding a hobby or connecting with a hobby, whether it be some type of a facility or a gathering, or whether it be friends, family, or anywhere that I move, what's happened a few times is that the police will show up for seemingly like no reason. And this is usually to fear-base me into remaining silent. And also because the narcissist convinces people that I'm a criminal, and various excuses that I've done this or I'm doing that I'm a certain kind of person. So the police either shows up pretending or manipulated to show up in order to fear-base me if I see this uniform. And this is to fear-base me into not wanting any trouble. Mind you, I'm not doing anything. I could be sitting there silently like I am now in front of this lake, and the police will show up as a form of intimidation. Now, I'm not sure if the narcissist is doing this by himself, telling cops that I hate the cops, that I dislike authority figures. Of course, none of us like any type of authority figure who is abusing their title. But I myself have studied to be a police officer in the past. I never followed through with it because I was much younger and influenced by people that I will be unalived, and because of the area that I grew up in, and they discouraged me from it. But I also feel that that was the universe leading me into another direction. Considering that I'm a healer, a helper, I like to see justice. I actually sought that out genuinely to serve properly and possibly go into forensics, or possibly go into investigative work. I do like to get to the root of things and help people and find the truth and lead the way to justice. And it's not something that I do chronically every day, but that was just part of my goals in the past, or not necessarily a goal, but an idea, in order to help and extend my gifts. This knowing and not knowing how I know, I tend to solve mysteries on my own, and thought that that was a good route to take at the time. So I went into other things that were more artistic. And to me, investigative work is an art form. I think everything is. It all depends on how you view it. But I am a creator, and in the past, long ago, I worked for the IRS and found that those types of, I mean, I think it's great if someone loves their job and they enjoy it, but I myself couldn't sit all day at a desk issuing EIN numbers and in a cubicle. It wasn't allowing me to be creative enough. So that's why, another reason why I chose other things. And it wasn't necessarily just that people discouraged me from it. It also was a combination of things, and how I wanted to lead with my purpose and do the things that help me heal and that I'm happier with. Sometimes we can still navigate through something we wanted to do in another way, such as helping people and coming into the truth and standing in that truth and the healing that we do knowingly and unknowingly. So to me, it's kind of like police work as well. I mean, again, if you put it into a greater perspective, you'll understand what I'm trying to put forth here as far as what I'm saying. So yeah, I will add more as I go along. Now, the narcissist will continue to create scenarios, illusions, situations in order for me to talk about them, in order for me to stay intertwined, in order for me to continue to be, whether it's virtually or directly, a part of his life. So these videos, moving forward, though a little more information may come out that I may remember or come into or currently experiencing, and bringing people up to date. But I would like to talk more about the spiritual aspect of this duality that is our human experience, because I have a lot of downloads that I would like to share and take on a different, lighter hearted way about going through the whole YouTube journey. So hopefully I am being understood. Hopefully I'm making sense. Now, I tend to describe things in layman's terms. A lot of biblical, I do that naturally. Now, the narcissist in the past has consistently pushed the idea that I should read more, has stated many times that my grammar is awful and I don't know what I'm doing. Again, the narcissist is always better than everyone else, and they're more intelligent, and you must follow their way of doing things. So a lot of biblical leaders in the past have used layman terms, metaphors, parables, examples, and this is because they understood that within the human experience, in the tangible 3D world, because we are conditioned out of who we are and to understand things differently that serve others and not ourselves, we lose the sense of being able to discern and decipher. And a narcissist using big words and better grammar, to me, this is not to say that people who speak well and use perfect grammar are not good people. What I'm saying is this personal connection. The narcissist uses his ability to speak well and using big words, and this is part of the manipulation, and people tend to think that they are so well put together, well versed, godly, all sorts of things. And the human mind is conditioned to view someone who speaks well, or someone who speaks in a, I guess, religious way, or someone who comes off as having it together. We put our guards down and we think that that's the better choice. Understanding the mind deeper and the spirit realm deeper, like myself, again, not perfect and still learning, I do know that that is a tactic, a manipulation tactic. Throughout my life, I've connected with people who don't use proper grammar or don't use bigger words, words that you don't understand. So I tend to speak in layman terms where the educated on the subject or those who are very educated will still understand what I'm saying. We all have our way of describing things, our way of going about things. And I do read, but the narcissist is constantly telling people that I need to pick up a book, that I need to. Now, mind you, when we read things, it's the same thing as your tangible streets, is the same thing as your spiritual streets. So when you're reading something, sometimes you are reading something from another person's perspective, another person's know-how or educational standpoint. But if you really look deeper, not everything you read is true. Not everything you read serves you. And a lot of times is some things are laced, not everything, but some things are laced with lies. Some things are created to be more than what it is and sensationalized and romanticized or used to sell books, movies, all sorts of media. So I keep things into perspective and know and understand the pattern and the tactics that the narcissist is using. To me and to many others, they'll find in time that it's the facade of gaining that respect due to how you sound or what you do for a living. Narcissists are very grandiose. And the demonic portion of this is that we are conditioned to view the world in a certain way, which once we come to a better understanding and balance, we'll figure it out that not everything is as it seems. Now, the narcissist can turn that around and say the same thing with me, that I'm not what I seem. Again, if you know me and take the time to get to know me, you'll notice that I don't change. I don't switch up according to the scenario, according to what people say. I continue on the path that I'm on and found that it has been best for me to be truthful. I'm a truth seeker. I don't deviate, which is why we attract narcissistic people. They hate us for our truth. They hate us for our purpose, for our path, for the authenticity that we present and people can feel, which is why people feel seen and heard. It's not something that I do on purpose, and I will not continue to explain who I am. I will not continue to explain my purpose. I want to finally just live in it and move with it forward and continue to be who I am. And those who resonate, those who are like-minded, those who can feel my authenticity will gravitate. And if not, I have always been one who do not have a problem with very little in my life or being alone. Though it's nice to have support, it's uplifting, it sends you further into your purpose. It changes the frequency for me, so it's greatly appreciated when people do give back in positive ways. Every ounce of it is appreciated. And I would like to end this video by saying, if anyone has given me just one flower, you're loved. Thank you.